One more question. Does monotheism believe that the universe is created by God and universal law is God's creation? I believe so. I believe that that is what they believe. It's quite important. If you don't believe God created the universe, then normally you cannot be accepted into the church.
So it is God created or self-created? God created.
Monotheism says that anything that comes from human cannot be transcendental. You understand the word transcendental? No? Transcendental means it goes beyond what is normal human experience. So if you attain the ability to read other people's minds, this is not normal, right? It's not normal. So most religions would say it's impossible for normal human beings to become supernormal human beings without the intervention of something which is beyond the human. In Buddhism, we would say it is possible, but there are certain ways of doing it. You have to raise yourself from being a normal human being to being a super normal human being. There are ways to do that. But in other religions, they say that's not possible. You have to have God to help you to go beyond being a human being. But we would say that within us, there's the potential for being more than human. And if we practice in a certain way, we can unlock that potential. Because there is an accusation from other religions, the Buddha was just a man. So how can he teach men to go beyond being a human being? Just a man, that's all. And we never said that the Buddha was a god, you see. But even human beings differ from one person to another. Some human beings, they behave in a way which goes far beyond what we would expect from a human being. They may be even much better, or they may be much worse than a human being. They've still got 2 hands, 2 legs, and a head like us, but the way they behave makes them different from others. So it's not the physical makeup which we are looking at, but it's the behavior, it's the way they look at the world, the amount they're able to sacrifice themselves for others. These things can be different from one person to another. It's not to say that they're not human anymore, but in their minds they have gone beyond what it is to be human. And this is really what we're interested in. It's not that you meditate more and you change into a giant or something like that. That's not the important thing for us. What's important is that on this side, on the internal world of the mind, that's the world which we're trying to change. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
May I know what is your view for our Buddhism about the Tibetan?
Any particular aspect of Tibetan?
Tibetan way of practicing. What is the basic to the end?
Blessing to the?
Basic to the becoming the Acharya.
Can you describe the steps?
Step means I myself practice the Tibetan essay, but I found different. Little bit different. In Tibetan, when we practice the basic way, we accept everything, which is the law of karma, God, angel, whatever, 108 type of the devas, even the human, different shape, different color, angry face, peaceful face, all are the human or creature, all be sentient beings. Inside have the Buddha nature. So we love and care and try to be a cool, peace way in the unity. And later my master said, when we higher realm Buddhists, when practice, then we have like Sir Venerable mentioned, in the higher realm means through the meditation. When we go up of the understanding of lower karma, then go to the body understanding, then there is no any God, and we don't believe God. We believe self creator and self destructor of our own environment. Our universe is the themselves has nature, inner, outer, and secret. We call the environment. So I like to know what's your view to this Tibetan Buddhism.
From what you have described so far, I think there's no conflict. The only conflict which I think I've heard about sometimes is that in Tibetan you may trust your teacher even more than what the Buddha said.
Yeah.
So sometimes if the teacher says something which doesn't conform with what the Buddha taught, you should still believe the teacher. This is something which we would hesitate about. Apart from that, the steps which you say, I think it's the same. In our temple here, when you talk about Buddha nature, we would agree with everything which you say. We wouldn't go as far to say that the Buddha nature is in the plants and the rocks, etc. Okay, we would say it's in living beings, and this is why we must have compassion for all forms of living beings. The things about deities and so on, you see a lot in Tibetan Buddhism. But I understand that if you practice on a high level, then you realize that these are for common people. They are like as a way for common people to relate to Buddhism, which is maybe too intellectual for them to understand. But once you practice deeper, then you realize that in fact the truth is beyond these things. It's not just gods or an angry god to scare you away from doing bad deeds or whatever, but there is something deeper, and it's to do with the experience of the Buddha directly. And I think on this level it's the same. You have the levels of bodhisattva, enlightenment. It's very similar to what we find within our tradition. Pursuing perfections is the same, except that in Mahayana they mention only 6, well we mention 10, but it's just a different grouping. In essence, in Buddhism, a lot is made of the differences between traditions. Mahayana, Theravada, Vajrayana. But mostly these differences, there are differences between the monks. The monks practice in a certain way, they have a certain differences of regulations. But for lay people, really there's no difference in the ideals. The sort of assumptions which you are hearing about connections, as I talk about in a very general way, you find this throughout Buddhism. That people believe that there's more than you can see with your eye. And there are other realms. How many other realms? Maybe there's some discussion. But people who belong to Buddhism, they believe that there are these sort of connections.
Thank you. We found same. I changed my Nikaya because a problem of we should respect the master higher than Buddha. So when I was basic training or cultivating, I was accepted as more than Buddha. And later 5 years I attended and I practiced it, and I practiced the meditation. So I found maybe I can respect higher than Buddha to my master, but my master should act as a Buddha, or my society people should act as a Buddha's disciples, like Purna Ananda. So many Nikayas in Buddha has given 9 Nikayas. Maybe they have a different kind, different level, different cause and effect, and different statement of individually. every beings of human being. So I myself is born in Nepal, but I can't fit with the teaching, so I don't feel any mistake. I feel my nature suitable with the Win Vajrayana. I was right and I done. Then now I feel happy with them this way, which is mostly I'm not going to complain any Nikaya, but I feel my energy and this way is the good and the future too. So I think this is the same feeling.
I think this is a good decision.
It's my problem,
Yeah.
not the Buddha
not
and
problem.
Dhamma and Nikaya.
Yeah, it's good. But I think that in a short reply, if you practice deeply enough, you find the thing which links all the traditions together.
Yes.
And once you touch on that, then other doubts which you have will disappear, and you will be able to see the good aspects of all the traditions which you have experience of.
I'm here because of this question. So many people ask, why you change the Nikaya? Even last night, I go to clean Chinese practitioner, and they said, why you change it? I said, I haven't changed it. Change it is my mind, my capacity. So I need this way now. And say, again, you can go to practice there? I said, maybe. This mind, if cannot control, I will try anyway. So
Good.
I'm not going to say my master hasn't taught me, my parent hasn't taught me, and the master will teach to me and I got enlightenment here. I mean, every fault is with me and with my karma. So I request all 10 direction and 3 time of venerables, please make me peaceful mind.
Sadhu. Okay. So tomorrow we move on a little bit further, looking at causation within the context of the Buddhist version of Genesis. Okay, not only Genesis but also Revelation as well, the end of the world too. But we start to see the overall picture as much as we can derive from Buddhist tradition. Okay.